this guy is a terrorist. And the fact of the matter is, this man is not a terrorist. Pakistan happens to have a name similar to one of the sanctioned people, but he's not. So during the conflict, India relied on disinformation. Post-conflict, India is still relying on disinformation. This idea that you can paint all Muslims with the same brush, that you can just use the word terrorism and your own country will be convinced, the international community will be convinced. Maybe that worked in 2001, in 2003, but it doesn't work so well in our context in 2025. I call upon the Indian government to be honest with themselves, to be honest with their people. The fact of the matter is the people of Pakistan and the people of India are less safe today than they were yesterday. And it's my responsibility to keep my people safe. It's their responsibility to keep their people safe. We have not discussed terrorism. When is the last time that Pakistan and India had a conversation about terrorism? We have no intelligence sharing over terrorism. We have no coordination over terrorism. So how are we meant to combat terrorism? It's almost a self-defeating purpose. That you continue to insist you're so passionate about terrorism, but then refuse to work with countries to combat that very menace. Similarly, how is it within the interest of India, within their security interests, within their economic interests, to allow this precedent to be part of their official state policy? Forget about the fact, no, don't forget about the fact, but let's keep to one side that it's a violation of international law, a violation of UN Security Council resolutions. What's the logic? That without any proof, without any evidence, anywhere, if there's a bomb attack in India by anyone, it means you'll send your planes into the air, then you'll shoot missiles over, nuclear-capable missiles over into your neighboring country. Does that bode well for investment in India? Does that mean that their people's lives are more secure? Does it deter terrorists, or does it encourage terrorism? Terrorists want to create confusion. They want to spread fear. The fact that their actions can result in a much broader conflict between two nuclear powers don't serve our interests, don't serve India's interests, but it certainly serves their interest. So there's need for deep introspection within India's society, between the Indian government. Their strategy has not been working. They must recognize that not all Pakistanis are terrorists, no matter what their government says to them. And they'll find it far more efficient, far more effective to work with the government of Pakistan, work with the relative institutions with Pakistan, to combat the joint threat of terrorism.
Mr. Ahmed, followed by
Thank you very much, Ahmed Fathi, ATN News.
Which news, sorry?
Ahmed Fathi, ATN News.
ATN News, thank you.
Let me start with a statement you made today, saying that the recent terrorist attack in Kashmir is being used as a political tool to demonize Muslims in India. Sir, I have watched the briefings on both sides, and as far as I recall, there were Muslim Indian military officers who were conducting the briefing on the Indian side.
Well, as far as the operation is concerned, you're absolutely right.
Okay. The other thing, my main question is a follow-up on my colleague Bhutto about tariffs and trade.
Okay, can I just answer your demonizing question?
Okay, sure.
Terrorism in general is used by India to demonize Muslims within their territory. This, I'm not specifically limiting it to this attack, but the Indian political environment is such that the word terrorist is used as a wolf whistle to either whip up sentiment against Muslim minorities within the Indian mainland, to demonize, to paint all Kashmiris within Kashmir who are opposed to the policies of the Indian government, not as legitimate voices of opposition, not as a form of resistance, but they demonize everyone as terrorists. Surely those who attack civilians are terrorists. But those people who raise their voice for the right to self-determination of their people are not terrorists. The Indian government has not only demonized Muslims within their own country and minorities within their own country. Pakistan has complaints about India financing and supporting terrorist activity within our country, but also Pakistan is not alone in having these complaints against India. For example, India has been targeting Sikh activists across the world. They've done so within Pakistan, where the Indian government has funded defunct terrorist organizations within Pakistan to conduct assassination of Sikh activists within Pakistan. The Indian government has engaged in similar criminal activity in Canada, where they've targeted Sikh activists in Canada. The Indian government has engaged in similar criminal activity here in the United States. The policy of the RSS or the BJP government to the Muslim minority within India is not something new. It's a known fact. What they do within their own country is up to their own system. When they start implying that all Pakistanis are terrorists as a result of the fact as a result of the actions of a few terrorists, I believe that's demonizing an entire population.
Thank you. Let me move to the trade and bilateral with the U.S. since you're going and your delegation are heading to Washington, D.C. I'm assuming you're going to have meetings in Congress and House and Senate, as well as the think tanks. How should Pakistan position itself in the current milieu of evolving competition between China and the West, led by the U.S. In the current environment, especially given that you have the CPEC, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor project, which have economic significance and rising as well global scrutiny of strategic infrastructure investments. What's your message going to be to Congress to rebuttal this accusation of being that you are warming up more to China?
We have economic relationships with both the United States and China. I kind of find it absurd for anyone to argue that one is not to have economic relations with any one country. For example, the United States has heavy competition with China, right? But they do a lot of trade with China. So Pakistan...
with tariffs.
Well, there's a tariff back and forth so far, but they do a lot of trade with each other, do they not? And surely it serves the interests of both countries that Pakistan, while obviously it will continue to do trade with its neighbor, that it also continues to do trade with the United States. What I do appreciate about the U.S. government at the moment is that they are talking about a more comprehensive dialogue with Pakistan about the scope of our trade. We're confident in our relationship with our neighbors, and we're optimistic about the trajectory of our relationship with the United States.
If that is going to be the last question because the delegation has a meeting lined up with the PGA.
Thank you. 𝗟𝗃𝗲 from Associated Press of Pakistan. Sir, part of my question has been asked by my colleague, but I would like you to elaborate. After your meetings with permanent and non-permanent members, individually and collectively, do you and your emphasis on them to realize their duty towards people of Kashmir, do you think you have been able to move them to take some action that any initiative will grow from this interaction between you and the Security Council?
Specific to Kashmir, I mean broader, as far as our Pakistan's call for dialogue and diplomacy in pursuit of peace, and encompassing many topics, including terrorism, including Kashmir, including water, I found receptiveness to that. But I wouldn't, as far as the hurdles we face within the UN and in general as far as the Kashmir cause is concerned, that still exists. Another topic that we have been emphasizing is obviously the issue of terrorism. As you're well aware, we've come here to the United Nations with dossier after dossier about Indian involvement in supporting terrorist proxies in Pakistan. The Indian government in the 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗲 communique are on record that they supported terrorist groups in Balochistan. Their officer, Kulbhushan Yadav, is in our custody since 2017, who's also admitted to supporting these groups. And it is important for Pakistan that India ceases such activity. We feel we've demonstrated through the FATF process that Pakistan has taken necessary actions against all groups within our territory. We continue to face challenges up until this day, but we're combating terrorism on all fronts. The Indian side has not shown any willingness to engage in addressing Pakistan's concerns vis-a-vis terrorism. And Iftikhar Sahab,
پاکستانی وفد کے سربراہ بلاول بھٹو زرداری نیو یارک میں نیوز کانفرنس کر رہے ہیں. ابھی آپ دیکھ سکیں گے کرتارپور کے حوالے سے خصوصی پروگرام.
السلام علیکم، میں ہوں علینا فاروق شیخ. پاک بھارت خطہ 1.5 ارب انسانوں کا گھر ہے، جہاں لوگ زبان، ثقافت اور جذبات میں ایک دوسرے کے بہت قریب ہیں. پاکستانیوں کو بھارتی فلمیں، بھارتیوں کو ہمارے ڈرامے بہت پسند ہیں. دونوں طرف سے ہزاروں لوگ علاج، زیارت یا سیاحت کی غرض سے سفر کرتے ہیں. گزشتہ دنوں مقبوضہ کشمیر میں پیش آنے والے ایک بدقسمت واقعے کو جواز بنا کر بھارت نے اپنی جارحانہ روایتی روش کا مظاہرہ کیا اور خطے کو جنگ کی آگ میں دھکیلا، جس میں سے ہم پاکستانی حکومت اور انٹرنیشنل برادری کی امن پسندانہ سوچ کی وجہ سے باہر نکل سکے. RSS اور مودی سرکار نے پاکستان اور بھارتی لوگوں کے درمیان موجود قدرتی محبت کو ہمیشہ نفرت میں بدلنے کی ہر ممکن کوشش کی ہے. کچھ دنوں قبل ہی پاکستانی سوشل میڈیا اکاؤنٹس بند کیے گئے، صحافیوں پر پابندیاں لگائیں اور یہاں تک کہ بیمار پاکستانی بچوں اور مریضوں کو علاج کے بغیر واپس بھیج دیا گیا. کوریڈورز بند کیے گئے، مذہبی مقامات کو نشانہ بنانے کی کوشش کی گئی اور سوشل میڈیا پر قدغن لگائی گئی. مودی سرکار نے پہلے تو پاکستان کی مساجد کو نشانہ بنایا، پھر سکھ مذہب کے مقدس مقام ننکانہ صاحب پر بھی ڈرون حملے کی کوشش کی، جس کو پاکستانی افواج نے ناکام بنایا. اب کھیل ہو، ثقافت کلچر ہو، سوشل میڈیا، الیکٹرانک میڈیا ہو، مذہبی مقامات، مودی نے ہر طرح سے دونوں ممالک کو دور رکھ کر لوگوں کے درمیان نفرت پھیلانے کی بھرپور کوشش کی. بھارتی روایتی جارحانہ اقدامات اور سوچ کے برعکس پاکستان نے ہمیشہ کی طرح اس بار بھی امن، تحمل اور خیر سگالی کا مظاہرہ کیا. نہ کوئی کوریڈور بند کیا، نہ کسی عوامی مقام کو نشانہ بنایا. کرتارپور کے دروازے ہمیشہ کھلے رہے اور لا تعداد سکھ یاتری یہاں سے امن کا پیغام لے